I think if you got a guy like that, built like that, the 6'4", guy, you got to transcend the time.
They got Jordan Davis last season. They bring Fletcher Cox back to the business. So I'm sitting there like, we need to put something. What's going on? Welcome back, everybody. Happy Monday. Dallas Cowboys start off the season 1-0. How you feeling, bro?
Oh, man, them Mondays feel a lot better. You know what I'm saying? Coming off a Cowboys victory like that. And, man, look, who could imagine it was going to be the beatdown, the shutdown that, you know what I mean, that taking place, man. So, man, I mean, how could you not feel good after a victory like this? You know what I mean? Honestly, just watching that game, you know what I mean, early on, I think the first drive, I was a little like, all right, what we doing to run, you know what I mean, the run defense and things like that. But, man, once we got rolling, look, man, I put my feet up and best believe I enjoyed every second of it.
Bro, they were killing us with the double teams on the first drive. I even texted you, and I was like, they're running the ball down our throats right here. And then they come out. Juanyeh Thomas blocks the field goal, and old boy Noah from Miami takes it back for the touchdown. Lights out from there. That was crazy, bro. I did panic, though. The Brandon Aubrey missed PAT. We got to get that tightened up. I know the weather was bad, but going into the game, you know, I was nervous. But talk to me a bit about that special teams.
But he did tighten up, though. You know what I mean? He came back and he looked good after that. He made all of his kicks. But, I mean, the special teams, I mean, you can't say enough about it. You know what I mean? One thing about it, Bones always has his boys making plays like that. But, you know, who else? You got Juanyeh, who comes in to make the play. And then I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Probably the last guy who we thought would score the first touchdown of the season for the Cowboys, Ignabahanabu, something like that. Takes it back to the house, man. And then, you know, you know how I go. Once we get up, you know, Dan Quinn is able to kind of dig into this package a little bit, let these pass rushers eat. Man, it's all up. It's all up from there, man. You know what I mean? And truthfully, man, who would have known, man? You know, I think we knew, you know, like all training camp, how deep in the competition this defense was. They was talking the talk, and boy, did they come out and walk the walk, man. So talk about some of the X factors and really like what did you see, man, when you was watching this game?
To be honest, man, not that I was worried in the secondary, but Dono being out, I expected there to be a different physicality out there. But, man, every single body out there was laying wood. Bell, Juanyeh Thomas, Trayvon even cracked, what's his name, Saquon on that pick six.
Sure.
Bro, the secondary has been lights out for a way. Like, this is crazy, bro. The secondary we had last year we thought was nice. If we can play like this, I know the weather, I know Daniel Jones, but lights out.
Look, I don't even give excuses to that, right? Because a lot of teams, you know what I mean, played in that same weather, right? You know what I mean? A lot of teams put up points. A lot of teams offenses didn't look as good, you know what I mean, including ours. We still got to fine-tune some things. But, you know what I mean, that takes nothing away from this defense. It's still a professional football team. You still got to come out here and play full quarters, man. And, you know what I mean? And that goes to the point that, you know what I mean, a lot of people will move the goalposts. And I kind of was already expecting it. You know what I mean? Like before the game, you would hear from all these people, man, you know what I mean, all the networks and everybody and all the Giants fans as well. And a lot of people just felt like, okay, yeah, the Giants is going to compete. They're a better team. A lot of people felt like they was better. And, you know what I mean, they for some reason, they just kind of just cast us to the side and it's just one of those things. But once we win, all of a sudden, the Giants are a bad football team.
Right.
Now the Cowboys beat nobody. You know what I mean? Things of that nature, man. And you can't discredit that, man. It's defense, man. I guess you could think about the ceiling of it. You're not going to have that every game. You're not just going to be coming out here and, you know what I mean, the takeaways maybe. But this was a complete dominant game, you know what I mean, from all standpoints, man. But I just think we just getting started, man. And Micah, if you hear him talking and you hear what the guys are saying, man, they truly believe that they're going to be one of those defense. I don't think they're waiting on Dak to carry them to a Super Bowl. I think they want to put this thing on their back, and I think they got a point to pull.
Now, on the Giants side of it, as you're saying, they moved the goalpost. I don't think the Giants stink. I think, you know, that's a solid coaching staff. I think when you force Daniel Jones to play from behind, the Giants stink. And that's exactly what we were able to do. The weather played a huge factor, but he did make some mistakes, which led to that as well. But to me, you can't move the goalpost on this one, because if it was the other way around, then it would be the Giants are crazy. But for the Giants, bro, you cannot lose 40-0 at home on opening night.
Facts. and
That's like
which hasn't been done, I believe, since 1999. You know what I mean? Which is a feat in itself, man.
right.
So yeah, like you know what I mean. They deserve all credit for that. You know what I mean? Even though they, you know what I mean, they lined up. Somebody had to come take their soul away. They ain't just stand back and say maybe it looked like that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The boys eating. Evan Neal just looked like he had a rough time over there. Didn't matter who was out there.
Micah had him seeing
Um,
ghosts.
Micah, then met Dorrance Armstrong's, like Fowler, like those guys was coming. And then honestly, Michael on the other side, you know, as good as Andrew Thomas is, you know, it looked like Michael was getting the better of him for the most part. And you know, the boys is eating, man, especially Osa. I gotta shout out Osa Odigizua, man. He looks like he's gonna be on the tear this year. A lot
Yeah.
of players to talk about. You talked about those safeties. I guess, do we really need linebackers? That's a question to ask.
Bro, we had Deron Bland playing in the box. That's what was crazy. Like, and he was in there making tackles in the run game. So we were pretty much a nickel all night. And if we're gonna run that 4-2 with the nickel, I mean, and we have a better body, like if Deron Bland is willing to get in there and play in the box, sign me up all day. But as you mentioned earlier, seeing Marquise Bell out there, that was supposed to be a Mario and Overshown. And
That's
that
all I
sucks.
could think about, man.
That sucks, man. And but shout out to Bell. He played well.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? And it was weird because it's like you think you was like, who is gonna play that Donovan Wilson role, right?
Right.
You know, we didn't have a Dono, but at the same time, who's gonna play the Overshown role? And you know what I mean? Juanyeh Thomas, I didn't foresee him being a guy getting as many snaps as he did, which he came out and played well. Marquise Bell, shout out to him. And boy, Stephon Gilmore, like what an addition, man.
That was nice.
Like he was locked down. You know what I mean? And even the play, the interception, I know a lot of people will just kind of just think about that play, but I think all throughout the night, man, the way he was shadowing guys, man, the guy's the ultimate pro. He's locked down, and you know what I mean. It's gonna be a trouble for a lot of teams. Like people just say, "Hey, the Giants' offensive line will look terrible." Hey, it's a lot of bad offensive lines out there
Right.
across the NFL. You know what I mean? There's a few good ones, and starting next week, the Jets, their offensive line isn't that good. I mean, so you know what I mean. We'll get a good look at them. You know what I mean. Obviously, we'll get more into a preview of next week, but I do want to stick here. Game ball, man. Who is your? I guess you could say your X factor for this game.
And on the field and off the field, right? So to me, Mike McCarthy did a hell of a job last night. He didn't go in there and try to blow him out. He made smart decisions. You know, we talked about before the half, we had the 3rd and 10. They called the timeout. There's no reason to force a throw there and give the Giants an opportunity to put points on the board. Last year, Kellen Moore probably would have made that move. You know, so that I think that was the most important moment of the game. Game ball to me, I thought, to be honest, Juanyeh Thomas, he's the one that turned the momentum right off the bat, bro. You block the kick, and then he was also out there on defense laying wood. Give it to Juanyeh for me. And I think he had the PBU on Darren Waller too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So he
He,
was
he
out
made
there.
he made plays right away. First drive, he was out there. He made his presence felt, man. Um, yeah, I can't go wrong with that, man. Wanye definitely stepped up for me. Player wise, right? Reason I'm gonna say player because obviously I think you know where I'm going with this. I would have to say Micah, man. I think everybody ate, right? You know, what I mean, everybody ate, but they ate because of Micah. I think he
Yeah.
set the tone, man. He came out there. It looked like he was getting double teamed, like damn near every play. He was still winning off of double teams, which is crazy to see. He's pushing guys around, and I think everybody kind of fed off of that, man. So shout out to Micah, just kind of leading that force. He's going to be on the tear this year, but I think more than anything, man, I just want to say shout out to Dan Quinn. I thought
Yeah.
he came out there, he caught a hell of a game. And you know what I mean, from the first snap, you know what I mean, like I said, the run defense, once we kind of sorted that out, and I think we did better as the game went on. Man, like when he got into the packages, like I remember the time like Michael was in the zero, and then he sent LVE around the outside, and man, he was doing all type of things, man. And like we got a guy right there. We pretty much got a head coach sitting at defense coordinator, and I hope we can keep this guy around as long as we can.
Absolutely, bro. I love DQ. Surprise player of the game, Cavante Turpin, bro. The touches they were manufacturing to my man,
Yeah,
and they couldn't even stop talking about the size of Cavante on TV. But the way the sweeps, I know, of course, they're not going to give him the ball at the middle like that. But then he even had the tub towards the end of the game, man. I love what they're doing with Cavante. I want to see more of that.
yeah.
And then that makes you question like his relevancy in fantasy football now as well.
For sure, and honestly, I think the best thing about that, right, is we never expected that, right? A lot of things like we all into preseason, they never used them that way.
Right.
We never got any indication that Turpin was going to be in the backfield, used the way he was. But outside of that, it was good to even see him going across the middle, make a couple tough catches, things of that nature. I thought Turpin, man, he looked good. Pollard looks like himself.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, Hana Luka, he lined up at fullback. You know what I mean? And pretty sure that Mike McCarthy is showing these things week one. He didn't really unleash the bag.
Right.
I think the weather was a factor, obviously, and he played into that. So um, I think we'll see a lot of counters off of this. Just put it on film, right? And what you said about Mike McCarthy, right? As far as doing
Maturity.
just yeah, like just knowing when to do certain things, situational football, knowing how to lean on your defense. Man, like how many times last year, I feel like out of like 9 or 10 of Dak's interceptions last year was going into halftime. We already up. Last drive right there, he puts all this aggression in for no reason
Right.
whatsoever. And Dak throws interception, out the team gets some momentum. They get on the board, they kind of start feeling themselves a little bit. And what do you know? Maybe we got a game, right? So I think it was cool. Like you said, you spoke of that play. He was able to just like, hey, chill. I'm gonna pass it. He took a shot. I'm gonna gamble. We're gonna pass again. All right, cool. No more pressure on that. We're gonna run the football. We have 26-0. Cool. And I think he's shown that throughout the game, even once we was up. Yeah, he passed when it was time to pass, but for the most part, he leaned on his run game and they answered the bell.
Bro, how about what was it? I think it was in the fourth that route CD ran on Hawkins when he broke my man down on the right side.
Whew. That was
Did you
beast.
did you see that, bro?
Yeah.
CD looked. We didn't get to see too much of CD last night because of the weather and the way the game went, but he looked phenomenal in the short amount we did see of him last night
Yeah.
as well.
And,
Brandon
and I
Cooks
no, go ahead.
and Brandon Cooks as well. He had that tough catch over the middle, got laid out. So like what we were able to see out of the wide receiver room was nice. I don't really have too much negative to talk about on that side.
And I would say this. I think the offense didn't play the best game statistically, but they didn't need to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously these guys didn't get the snaps during the preseason. And the best thing about that is you have a top defense, maybe one, not two, that you can lean on and you got time for this thing to gel, right? But I think the beauty of it is you watch some of the concepts, you see what's going on. I see guys getting open. Perfect example was that large gain on the left side of CD Lamb, that pick route. Like
Mm-hmm.
for the longest, man, we've seen teams just be able to get guys open. But for us, it always seemed like for Kellen was, hey, just beat the guy across from you. You know what I mean? No, you wasn't scheming guys open.
Right.
And I think if you look at it from the other side, not to look too much over there, but you see the Chargers put up all the points, right?
Right.
Statistically, it looked good. But then it was certain plays, like it's 3rd down to 1. You know what I mean? They go out there, empty set, they pass the ball. Justin Herbert almost get a safety, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the plays that that haunted us for so long, man. So I think it was a cool, just whole reversing philosophy, seeing Mike McCarthy had this thing in control. And I thought, outside of what people may believe, I thought Dak looked real comfortable. Outside of maybe the missed throw to CD in the end zone, he played a very solid game. Looked like he was comfortable in offense. The tight ends got to do better. You know what I mean? I think they dropped about 2 touchdowns there.
Yes.
And we may be singing a whole different tune today, man. But me, I feel good. We had a lot of questions going into this thing. Not a lot, but it was a couple. We was worried was Tyron Smith going to play? Miss Tyler going to play? And then, the game starts, obviously, Tyler is out. So, we talk about that left guard position, the offensive line in general. And look, Doge stepped up.
No, yeah, and it was a phenomenal job on his part as well. The missed opportunity by Jake Ferguson for that touchdown, man. Dak, I think that was the best throw of the night right there. Dak threw that ball into triple coverage where only Jake could have it, man. And
Beautiful
Dak
ball.
was dropping dimes all night long. You mentioned before the throw between Thibodeau's ear, like that was a precision throw right there as well. So, like you said, Dak's stat line may not have been all that, but he did what was necessary given the game script.
For sure. And to that point, like you would hear, like, oh, like Hurts or this these offense, all of them got the excuse of, yeah, but they was playing in the rain. But for Dak, it's like, hey, we're gonna sit there and we're gonna look at his stat line,
Right.
just to know the fact that he played in the rain too. But also nobody's talking about Joe Burrow and the performance that he put out there like that. So I just think, man, it kind of comes with the territory. We know what's going on. Let's just focus on what's going on at house, man. I think we got a top contender team here. The defense it looks good. Pollard, everything about everybody and the way these guys are fine tuning, they gelling. Everything we know as far as the vibe, man. I just feel like this team is close knit. The boys is ready to go to war, man, every week. And just to hear some of the veterans talk, they coming out after the game and they pretty much saying all the things that we want to hear as far as, man, like, yeah, we know it's not going to happen like this every Sunday. We working our ass off and practice every week. And, it makes execution like this on Sundays easy. And that's the type of stuff I love to hear.
Absolutely. Two other things that I was excited to see. Tony looked good. He looked back to, I'd say, close to 100%, and we saw him take some solid shots as well.
Yeah.
Dak, when he ran to the left side on the in the red zone, he took a nice lick right there as well. So it was nice to see Dak, take a hit, get back up, get that going to start the season, and maybe we do see a lot more athleticism from Dak Prescott with this new game plan.
Yeah.
That's
And
something that
I
we
thought that
have.
was nice to see, for real.
That's something we've been missing over the last couple seasons.
Yeah.
So hopefully they unlock that a little more. Now, Rico Dowdle, man, to me, the opportunities he had, he took advantage of.
Yeah.
Rico looked phenomenal
He
when he
runs
was
hard.
out there. He does. And I want to say, and it's probably a bad comparison, but it's a little Pacheco-y to me, the way he moves.
Mhm.
Like the way he hits that hole was phenomenal. I think he took his first run for like 10 yards. That was nice to see. We even got to see a little bit of Deuce towards the end of the game, but that was kind of,
Yeah.
just killing clock at that point in time.
Yeah, for sure, man. I fair point, man. I thought Dotto, he came out there looked good, and that was another question we had, before the
Right.
game. Like, what would it look like in short yardage situations? How would he answer the bell? And look, we got a guy, man. I was worried. I thought maybe that might be a missing piece, but even Tony Pollard in the red zone, hey, he
That
was
was
able to he
nice.
was able to punch it in. And like you said, when Dotto came in, he was able to do what he had to do. It was a nice little change of pace too, man. He ran hard. So I think, man, everything looks good, man. Let's give it time. And then, like I said, we're gonna get into these Jets soon, man. I really want to see what happens in that game, man. And but let's just get Dono in the building, man. If we get Dono back in this thing, let's get Tyler Smith, let's get fully healthy. We still ain't got Joe and Lewis out here yet, man. So we
Right.
ain't got the full reinforcements of what's really coming. But I do think they put the league on notice.
I agree. Do you want to wrap things up there? Or you got another point?
Nah, that's it, man. Like soon, man. We'll be back in a few days, man. We're gonna break down this Jets game, see how that go, man. Probably do Cowboys offense versus Jets defense preview, and then we'll be back later in the week to flip things around, do the defense versus the offense. But I think last words, how could you not be excited? And know the outside news, man. Know it, yeah, the noise, you know what I'm saying? I think we answer the bell, man. And I know y'all feeling good, man. Like I said, these days always feel better. Coming off a Cowboys dub, man. I couldn't sleep last night. I woke up, I was feeling it all this morning. You know what I mean? But it was all worth it, man. So make sure y'all hit that like, share, subscribe button, man. Stay tuned, man. And we'll be back with another one for sure. Peace.